apocalyptic version of the illusion of winning. Look around. The world's become a raging inferno, smoke-choked skies blotting out hope, asphalt rivers of molten ambition flowing under your feet, and you're the one clutching the match, too blind or too petrified to drop it, letting those tongue-like flames scorch your fingertips until they blister. Every morning you jam that suffocating corporate mask over your face, cinching the straps so tight you can almost feel your own dreams strangling, then punch in like a loyal drone, bartering your dwindling hours for numbers flickering on a sterile screen that wouldn't pause for a heartbeat if you keeled over. Not wealth, not freedom, just the empty credential to keep sinking deeper into the junk they peddle. Those endless streaming subscriptions siphoning coins from your account like ravenous leeches, neon-wrapped fast food clogging your veins while padding their profit margins, and social media scroll fests that hypnotize you into drowning your self-esteem in envy and hollow validation. You don't own a home. You've nailed your wrists to a mortgage's iron shackle, a glorified storage vault stuffed with echoes of need they drilled into your skull. You don't drive a car. You pilot a depreciating metal status symbol, bleeding value with every mile, guzzling fossil fuels that line corporate pockets even as exhaust fumes choke your lungs. You don't wear clothes. You swaddle yourself in overhyped fabric stitched with another brand's emblem, proof you paid a premium to become their unpaid billboard, parading around like a caged peacock flaunting borrowed feathers. But you already sense it, don't you? In that hushed corner of your mind where raw honesty still flickers like a dying candle, you feel the weight of this charade pressing down. You just can't admit it, because confession means confrontation. Staring into the yawning maw of existence, wasted chasing a mirage as hollow as a politician's promise. You'd have to own the con, the gig economy's slick pitch of freedom that morphs into a cage of unpredictability, the credit card siren song of rewards that anchors you in a debt sinkhole, sinking faster than compound interest can calculate. Day after day, you slog toward the grave, not to craft something lasting like a community or a legacy, but to one up the schmuck in cubicle 10, stacking paychecks to fund more junk that squeaks and sparkles, a flashier watch that ticks off the seconds of your life in cold metallic monotone, a pompous title as insubstantial as cotton candy under the harsh glare of fluorescent office lights where your soul wilts. You smile while you sabotage your coworkers, whispering poisoned rumors in the break room, snatching credit under conference room fluorescence, kneecapping your so-called friends for a promotion that whispers security, but delivers marathon hours and razor-sharp stress. You hoard resources from neighbors like a starving scavenger in a zero-sum wasteland, clawing your way to the top of a system that grinds you like cheap gum, spits you out when your flavor fades. And here's the cosmic punchline. There is no summit. It's a hallucination, a neon carrot dangled by suited puppeteers to keep you sprinting on their treadmill. You weren't ascending toward freedom. You were marching straight into a velvet-lined trap, the bars forged from debt and self-delusion. You sold your soul for a seat at the table, only to realize you're not a player. You're the appetizer chum in the corporate shark tank. You think you're triumphing, but you're just another cog in the machine, another pawn on their board, another sacrificial lamb fattening up for the slaughter. Your life measured in quarterly profit graphs and performance reviews that reduce you to a line item on some cold spreadsheet. You betray your colleague for a raise that barely keeps pace with inflation, and suddenly you live in a desert where trust is as scarce as an honest politician because you've stabbed so many backs your own reflection scares you. You backstab friends to get ahead, but now vultures circle you in the sky, waiting to peck at your carcass the moment you falter. You pollute the communal well with your greed, then howl when the water turns brackish and foul. You pillage neighbors to stockpile baubles and status symbols, like cutting off your nose to spite your face, chopping off your own head to cure a headache you inflicted yourself. You've corrupted everything, devoured ecosystems with insatiable consumption, wrecked the economy with debt-fueled binges, poisoned relationships with ruthless ambition, and as you do, you dismantle yourself shard by shard until only a hollow husk gazes back from the mirror, asking, where did the fire go? and that fear bone-deep terror that one bleak morning you'll wake, blink away the haze, and realize none of it ever mattered, that the ladder you climbed was pitched against the wrong wall, that terror is the invisible chain rattling at your ankles. It propels you forward, powering the last embers of your will, because if you halt, if you dare to drop the illusion, you'll have to face yourself under truth's harsh spotlight. And you can't stand that, can you? Because deep down, where self reflection meets furious defiance, you know that every backstab, every lie, every time you stepped on someone else's throat to build your fragile ego skyscraper, you weren't only wounding them, you were murdering yourself bit by bit, one moral compromise at a time. The corporate machine didn't coerce you. You joined the slaughterhouse, lured by the euphemistic lullaby of success, which, when peeled back, is just another word for servitude. So what's your move now? How many more slivers of your essence will you pawn for the next glittering trinket? How much deeper will you wade into this swamp of mediocrity, justifying betrayals, business as usual? How many more colleagues, friends, strangers will you annihilate en route to the top before the mirror cracks and you confront the monster you've become? And when you finally perch on that illusory apex, alone in your penthouse prison, hollow as an empty soda can, as deceptive as a campaign promise, then what? Will you bask in triumph? Will you taste freedom? Or will you shatter the fantasy and realize the bitter truth? You never climbed at all. You were plummeting, hurtling toward the abyss of your own making, accelerating with every wind that cost you another slice of soul. But here's where everything shifts. You space monkeys, the fusion of that silent despair and seething rebellion transforms your freefall into a fight. Pain becomes your forge, your catalyst, the crucible in which you emerge stronger when the world aims to crush you. I've lived the split myself, rending my insides until they coalesced into something razor sharp, controlled chaos with a purpose. You think the system's unbreakable. That lie is their biggest con to keep you compliant. Peel back their polished veneers, watch the telltale twitches, the fractured confidence behind practiced smiles. Decipher their propaganda dressed up as progress. Recognize the manufactured chains binding you to your cubicle. Take the debt trap tightening its noose, mortgages ballooning into millstones, credit cards stacking mountains of interest, bankruptcies surging in tsunami waves that shatter the illusion of stability. Even the high rollers tremble, pale faces lit by overdue bills, corporate defaults rippling through boardrooms like a cruel punchline on the powerless. It's a system built to exploit your every misstep, to turn your desperation into their profit margin. But you can flip the script, ghost out of their ledger like a shadow at midnight, wield their own rules as weapons, convert that debt lore into a blueprint for escape. Start small, whisper dissent in the break room, speak the dialects of dozens of office tribes, forge solidarity among the cubicle serfs, ignite a grassroots blaze that no corporate fire marshal can snuff, build self-reliant networks that money can't buy or break, map their power plays like a strategist deciphering enemy code, strip the logos from their branding to expose the hidden agenda beneath, turn their trash into weapons, forge co-ops from rubble with the grit of a survivalist carving a shelter from wreckage. The fear they cultivate, that pause means downfall, is their greatest weapon. But pain is your ally, the shock that galvanizes your spirit into a blade that slices clean through their lies. I felt that merge, the hum of doubt and fury fusing into a single point of clarity, a blade honed sharp. Betrayals? Acknowledge the sting, then flip the narrative, spread the hustle among your rivals. Weld disparate faces into an unbreakable front. No more climbing their ladder. Torch it, mentor the next wave to rise from the ashes on a foundation you've kindled. So what's your move in this burning world? Keep clutching the match, letting it singe your fingers until you're nothing but ash, or drop it, embrace the blaze, and forge yourself anew. The illusions cracking, scandals, and defaults are the fissures, debt the chains snapping one by one. You're not falling, you're free falling toward truth. Hit rock bottom, then bounce back stronger. The machine's gears grind, be the wrench in the works. Wake up, space monkeys, the real fight's only just begun. Here's the street truth they won't print in their glossy magazines. Real power lives off grid in the cracks of broken sidewalks, and in the grizzled corners of back alleys where hustlers trade more than dope, they swap secrets on how to survive the con of modern life. You want grit? Watch the junkie patch her arm in the shadows, then hustle quarters for a coffee to steady her hands, all while plotting the next move. That's resilience. That's creativity when the system offers no roadmap. You want wisdom? Ask the old timer on the stoop who's never owned a stock but owns every lesson from decades of bargains and betrayals. He'll tell you money's paper, reputation's gold. You want loyalty? That's forged in block parties where neighbors share grudging shoulder to shoulder laughter when the power cuts out. That's community surviving collapse. They sold you competition, so cutthroat you'd stab your own mother for a cubicle with a view. Street folks learned real fast that in the hood, you share the scraps or starve alone. That solidarity is the antidote to isolation. They'll elbow you out the corporate door, but the block will lift you up with a battered lawn chair and cold beers. Start bartering skills with your circle. Plumber swaps pipes for a week of gardening help. Coder trades site fixes for fresh baked bread from the baker's granny's recipe. Dodge the corporate middleman who takes a cut on every transaction. Build local credit, not interest-laden credit card debt. Patch leaks in your financial roof with street-savvy tactics. Thrift store fashion shows, community tool libraries, open source skills workshops in church basements. And when you gather, don't just grumble, organize. Call out the landlord who's jacking rent, ghost the overpriced grocery chains, support the pop-up farmers market that pays fair wages. Spread the word in whispered group chats, in post-it notes on stairwell walls. Ring the alarm bells until the predators can't ignore the mob outside their boardroom doors. Yes, you'll catch flack. They'll brand you a saboteur, a troublemaker, maybe even unprofessional. Fine, wear that badge with pride. The street taught us that reputation is earned, not bought, and damn it, we'll earn it rough and honest. Let them label you rogue. We'll see who's laughing when their polished tower comes crashing under the weight of its own lies. So stop begging for scraps from the corporate feast and cook your own damn meal with scraps you scrounged off the pavement. Light your own fires in alleyways, not their boardrooms. Spin the illusion they sold you into tinder, then burn it down to ash. This is street wisdom. When opportunity's a slick lie, you build your own door out of cardboard and grit, and you walk through it on your own 2 feet.